Notre Dame, Navy.
Showed up.
Notre Dame did show up. Sam Hartman showed up big time. The 37-year-old transfer from Wake Forest.
Come on now, he's not that old.
No, but he looked fantastic, and he is climbing the Heisman odds boards. He is now number 3 behind Caleb Williams, who's at plus 450, who looked great as well, too.
Yes, he
and
did.
then Jaden Daniels at LSU, and now you've got Sam Hartman there sitting there.
I think Zachariah Branch might have stole the show there at Southern Cal. My God, that kid looks like the making of like a Reggie Bush. Now he's at wide receiver for them, and he's a true freshman. But I just watching that kid in that game, I have not seen a kid that looks like Reggie Bush until Zachariah Branch.
Wow.
That's the first kid I've ever seen that I said, that's going to be a problem for everyone. Like, he looks like he's just playing at a faster speed than everyone else that's out there. But, no, look, Sam Hartman was exactly what Notre Dame was hoping he would be. That steady, calm hand that can handle everything at the line of scrimmage. Navy at times tried to utilize an all-out blitz zero. He checked. He knew where to go with the football. He knew in the 2-minute drive, march right down the field before the end of the first half. It was all the things that you had hoped for. And one of the reasons why I think he's skyrocketed up for the Heisman odds is, for starters, he's the quarterback at Notre Dame. That's going to help you. But more importantly is where this team is at. This team now has been building towards a national title contender. They've been in the playoffs a couple of times in recent years, but everyone's kind of questioned based on the performance whether or not they're able to compete with the big dogs. The difference has been quarterback, and they've got one now that's able to truly utilize the wide receivers on the outside. Like, I'm telling you, they've got the guys. You know, Jaden Thomas, Deion Colsey are big-bodied targets, and they can do something with the football after it. You know, Jaden Greathouse, Rico Flores, Chris Tyree, other guys who are mixing in too have speed, the ability to make people miss. Like, they've got a nice assortment of weapons at wide receiver that we really haven't had the ability to tap into with the quarterbacks that have been there. And so it opens things up in a big way because you've got this huge offensive line that wants to maul people with a 225-pound back that's got bad intentions. And by the way, it's a stable of backs. Jadarian Price showed out. First carry, got a touchdown run. And you could go on down the list. Jeremiah Love's got a ton of speed out of the backfield. He got some burn time too. So it's a dangerous combination. The only thing coming out of the game that you're really curious about is the defense. Because Navy's such a unique attack, you're not going to see if they have a pass rush or the ability to cover down. And I don't know that they're going to see if they have the ability to do that until they play Ohio State, which is week 4 of college football. So that game, though, I think, was one that, look, they should have won. They should have covered. Navy's in a really bad spot right now as a program. But it certified all the things that you had hoped for out of Sam Hartman. And any questions you might have in regards to Jared Parker as an offensive play caller, coming into this one.
A lot of those early matchups in college football, and you could see it at the Notre Dame Navy game, just when they lined up at kickoff, it was like, oh, yeah, one team's just significantly better, bigger, stronger. Yeah, they look different athletes.
And that's the difference of, like, when we travel around the country for Big Noon Kickoff and we see, like, the Michigans, the Ohio States, last year, Bama, Texas, like, all these different schools, Oklahoma, you get a sense because you see, like, the big boys. And that's, to me, what makes the biggest difference is when it's two things. It's when you have the big boys up front on both sides of the ball, and then you have depth. Like, you're looking at dudes who aren't starting, and you're going, oh, that guy's going to be good. Like, he's going to have a shot at the NFL. So it's those two sides of the ball up front, and then it's the speed and then, size and length on the perimeter at, like, wide receiver and DB. And this isn't hyperbole. This isn't me, blowing one game out of proportion because I've got a measured approach to Navy. Navy's really struggled, by the way, in opening games of the season, and in particular playing in Ireland. But this is the best as far as team speed, size, athleticism that Notre Dame has had since I can remember.
Wow.
I mean, as far as all those things, and it's a credit to Marcus Freeman, it's a credit to the boys there, the development, the weight room and all that, but recruiting specifically, the young dudes coming up, like, they've got some studs. They really do.
And, like, when you're calling that West Virginia-Penn State game, like, it's not like West Virginia is just a nothing program. It's a Division I program, and it's going to be obvious how much bigger and faster and stronger Penn State is than West Virginia.
Yeah, but it's a great matchup because of the familiarity factor. West Virginia, they borderline Pennsylvania. And it's called the backyard brawl for a reason with them versus Pitt. They fight hard. They're always going to come in with a tooth chipping mentality. Like they try to play at a high level that's competitive, and that they've always been respected. West Virginia WVU football is a very well respected program, and even if they're not high up or tops, and what it, ranking wise, they always seem to have a ton of talent on their team. And that's, there's always cause for concern because that's the type of team that's good enough to win an opening game. And so you can't take a game like this lightly, which makes it a really, really cool matchup for Penn State coming right out of the gate. But I mean, people are lathered up and they are ready to go for this Penn State season, man. I'll tell you, this might be the most pressure-packed season in probably maybe Coach Franklin's entire tenure there. This is a big one. This is a big year. So he got to get one of them. He got to clip at least O State or Michigan this year. You got to clip one of them.
And the tough thing is, like, Michigan's built, to me, if like you were checking all the boxes for a team that should win the national championship, you'd have to say it's Michigan. With everything they have coming back, their soft non-conference schedule, their toughest road test is going to be Penn State at Penn State, but they get Ohio State coming to their house. I mean, starting returning quarterback who's a stud, offensive line studs, backfield studs, experience of wide receiver, 9 of 11 on defense. I mean, it sets up for them to make a national championship run, and I don't even think they're favored right now to win the Big Ten, which is a bit surprising. Like, everyone's kind of just giving Ohio State the benefit of the doubt, but I would say next to Michigan, a lot of people should talk more Penn State because of all the star players. Like, I know people are like, well, hey, you got Miles Williams and Trayvon Henderson. I'm like, well, yeah, but you got like Singleton and Katron Allen too. Like, oof. you got two beast backs at Penn State, and let's look at the offensive line. Like, you're not going to find a better offensive lineman than
Lou.
Yeah, like your left tackle's arguably one of the best in the country. Yeah. By the way, there's no indecision about who your starting quarterback is.
Nope.
Ohio State's still trying to figure that out. Defensively too. I mean, when you start matching up Ohio State, Penn State,
defensively, it's going to be it's a wrap. Our secondary, we got one of the best secondaries in the country. Our linebacking core, one of the best linebacking cores in the country. Our defensive front, one of the best defensive fronts in the country. Yeah. Like, we're tops at every level. Our secondary is sick. No fly zone, lockdown. And I'm like excited about it. Like, it's been a while since I've been really excited about, going into a season with our team. But this is one of those years where you say this could be a special year. You got Theo at tight end, the big Canadian. I mean, amazing.
What up, big Canadian?
We got, and then when you talk about
what
Drew
up,
Aller,
Canada?
Drew Aller is, to me, and I continue to say it, he is the first bona fide franchise quarterback that we've had since Kerry Collins.
Yeah.
And we've had some really good quarterbacks. Darryl Clark was good. Mike Robinson, obviously Trace McSorley.
What up, Mike Rob?
And Cliff and all those guys. We've had some good quarterbacks in our past.
Let me kind of not to clarify, but let me say the other way of how I'd say what you said is he's a guy that I look at and I say that's a first round drafted quarterback.
Yeah.
Like you guys haven't had that since Kerry Collins.
Yes.
And you look at him and you're saying no, he's going to be a guy we talk about here in 2 years and go, yeah, that guy's going to be being a top 10 pick. Top 5 pick.
Listen, I always say this, and I love using the terminology franchise guy because I always say if you look at college football, look at where the franchise quarterbacks go to school. no matter what the era may be, if the franchise guys are going to Notre Dame's going to win. If the franchise guys are going to Florida State's going to win. If they're going to USC is going to win. Like wherever Texas, if you see a franchise quarterback, a franchise caliber quarterback out of high school, go to a college, chances are, especially if they get it 2-3 classes in a row, chances are that team is going to win.
The fact that Franklin was able to pull him out of Ohio when Michigan and Ohio State were both after him, that's got to be
Drew Aller, man. That's all I'm going to tell you, Drew Aller. You know how the QB making his bold predictions about, like, guys, like he made his prediction about Caleb and all those guys. Listen what I'm telling you.
Are you calling your shot right now? Drew Aller, Heisman Trophy?
He's that good.